are you and how did you get into voice acting?
I'm Brian Hahn. I first got into voice acting actually just through a connected friend of mine who is an indie game developer. For a long time, I've been very active in the fighting game scene, and this guy was developing a fighting game called Merfight: Curse of the Arctic Prince. For some time, I had been streaming, running tournaments, that sort of thing, and he approached me one day and said, "Hey, would you like to try voicing a character in this game?" So, we got into it, doing some character work, and kind of figuring out how that would come out, and just sort of went for it. That was maybe about 2 years ago, and since then, recently, I've decided, hey, I kind of want to try getting into this more seriously as a hobby, and yeah, just started throwing out auditions, and now here we are.
Where have you gone to send in or find auditions the most?
Primarily Casting Call Club. That was kind of the first space for that I became aware of. I actually, of all things, the impetus for it was just I was checking out a gaming news site, and I saw that somebody was doing a fan English dub of the game Popful Mail. So I first discovered Casting Call through that. Just put in some auditions. I didn't end up getting anything in that, but just the process itself was fun enough that I started looking for more things on Casting Call.
What are some of the projects that you've been able to get involved in? What are some of the favorite things that you've gotten to do?
The clear favorite is absolutely Fugue's End. With what was made public on the audition page, it's a strategy RPG, very much in the vein of like Fire Emblem. Other things that I've gotten involved with a couple of more fan dubbings, one for Higurashi When They Cry, and one for Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
What do you like specifically about fan dubbing and what makes it different from original projects or things that you commonly think of when you think of voice acting?
I suppose going into those, there's more of a firm basis and expectations around who these characters are. There's been other adaptations of them, other voice work done for these characters, and not always if it's a written work or an unvoiced game or mostly unvoiced game. It's kind of an interesting balance in that you are trying to both mirror what has already been done for this character and come up with your own spin on it, your own interpretation. So there's a bit of a different balance to hit there than with something that is wholly original.
When you do fan dubbing projects, are you trying really hard to get down the impression of that character, or are you making it unique with your own voice?
I think more just my own spin, especially because for Path of Radiance, I'm doing some bit parts so far, some NPCs, hopefully more substantial parts later on. But they did not have a voice to them in the first place, so there wasn't much to interpret. But for Higurashi, that was something that I have quite enjoyed reading and watching before. Find that balance between mirroring what I've already seen and you know making it more true to myself as well.
What would you say maybe are some common misconceptions or misunderstandings about voice acting?
Something to consider that maybe people aren't as aware of is that it's not necessarily just coming up with a funny voice. It is the acting part of it is as much. It is the most important part of it. There are things that you have to do solely with your voice that you wouldn't be able to necessarily with like stage acting or screen acting, where you have your body language, your face language, all of those non-verbal pieces of the performance that you have to convey solely with your voice.
Do you express yourself when you're recording? Do you use your hands? Do you
Yes,
do your facial expressions? Because maybe you think of, sometimes the best videos people show online are like more stoic, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm more expressive, especially if it's an exciting scene. So, what about you?
big sweeping gestures. I have to, make some room around me while I'm doing it. I used to do some stage acting, so I try to figure out how would this person stand, how would they carry themselves, and try to assume that sort of posture, those sort of movements as part of it, even if that's not, coming through the microphone. It does help me.
As someone with experience in stage acting, how do you find that shaped your voice acting experience? Do you find that it makes any difference in what you're doing now?
I would say so. Just giving me the experience of any kind of acting, of trying to embody a character, of trying to get into a character's head, and obviously it's a different form of conveyance, but stage acting also, you do have to make things larger and more exaggerated than maybe you would, appearing directly on camera. So I think that does aid in it. The most important thing that I try to carry through all of that is just keeping a sense of collaboration. Is something that way back in high school, my theater teacher taught us. Line that's a phrase that has always stuck with me is that the most important person on stage is the other person. Just going into any project, whether you're interacting with your fellow castmates, with the director, with any of the artists or other team members on board, just always keep in mind that this is a collaboration, that everybody is here both because they want to create something, and just that they're passionate about that process, that collaborative process. So that's,
Yeah.
I suppose, one of the main things I've taken from it.
How do you feel that the voice acting industry contributes to media industry as a whole? What about people's daily lives?
It's in so many places. It's in commercials. It's not just radio, it's podcasting, it's videos, it's having something on in the background. We are always hearing voices somewhere. I think that is just a part of people's lives, that, I'm hoping to be able to to put myself out there a little bit, just to be able to point to something and say, "Hey, that's me in that." As far as like the industry goes, it is interesting to follow, along with some of the news stories of, there have been strikes, there have been situations over AI sort of encroaching into the industry, people being put more at risk because of it. And I think that if artists of any kind are not supported, their lives, their careers are made worse. Everybody suffers for it.
In your opinion, what's the best way to show support?
I would say just wherever you can, support small creators, support indie creators. There's a lot of expectation these days of, things should be free, things uh, should be able to just be available at the touch of a button. But not the vast majority of people creating things don't have money from advertisements. They don't have support and exposure from big corporations. So these are things that you have to seek out yourself and find ways to support those creators yourself.
What's your advice for people looking to get into voice acting or who are interested in learning more about it?
Just start doing it. Just hook up a microphone and start trying it, whether you think you are experienced enough or not, whether you think you are talented enough or not, because talent is just the receipt from practice. Um, I would say just try it. The worst that can happen is that you are passed up, and that happens. That's just the just keep in mind that it's almost like doing a job interview, where the vast majority of things that you put out there aren't going to be, an immediate success. But if you're just waiting for the ideal circumstances or the ideal opportunity, you're going to be waiting forever. Just try it.
That's great.
That's really all there is to it, is just try it.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That concludes our interview. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.